In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a flat set or a scent post set. So I've got my backing picked out here, just a little clump of grass. I've got a old logging road here with the intersection of another logging road. I've got some scat, some sign here. I know the game's coming through here, and so I've got my backing picked out. Wind, you know, if you can watch your wind and know that your wind is going to be crossing across your set and into the animal's path, travel path, and that's all the better. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you are going to be making your set. So in this case, actually, I feel the wind coming kind of from my back, and it's going to be blowing straight on down this road. So won't be covering every angle, but I'll have me another set on one of the other corners, so should have just about any wind covered. So I've got my backing picked out. I'm going to use this clump of grass here. So I'm just going to kind of clear out where I'm going to sit. I'll save some of this grass. I may try to blend the set back in once I get it made. I've got my trusty MB550. So it's time to dig out a trap bed. One thing you're going to encounter around logging roads, any kind of road you're sitting on, a lot of times is rocks, gravel, rocks, especially on the surface. So if you get off the road a little bit, usually you can avoid some of that. Pretty good many rocks there. I might have to come up with some other dirt to cover my trap with. And I try to dig out a bed that's just big enough for the trap. That way I don't have to do a lot of extra anything, ideally. Set my trap. Drive my stake in the ground, whatever kind of stake that you're using, and get my trap. One thing I forgot, I need me a little pan cover. In this case, I'm going to use this polyfill underneath the pan. We got a night latch on the MB550, so click, that baby's set and ready to go. And because I dug my bed out as close to the size of the trap as possible, you know, this loose jaw was kind of sticking up a little bit. I can kind of force it, push it down, force it down, and it kind of locks the trap in place. I press, you know, other spots on the trap. We got a little bit of wiggle on this side, so I'm gonna see if I can't push a little dirt under there. And then what I'll do is I'll take my sifter in areas, and you know, you can see there's a lot of rocks around here. That's where a sifter becomes really important, because you want to avoid any rocks getting in this pattern, because if a rock gets in there and that trap fires when a coyote steps on it, the rock may get caught in between the jaws and cause you to lose that coyote, because it keeps the jaws from closing all the way. So I always like to kind of brush out where my pan is. Keep an eye on where my pan is. And then I like to take my hand and make kind of a triangle around the pan and just press and kind of firm all that dirt around the trap there. And I can press anywhere that I know where the trap frame is, and it's not moving. That's exactly what I want. I want zero movement on that trap except for the pan. So then I'm going to put a final cover and make sure my pan's covered. And now with my dirt hole sets and other sets, a lot of times I'll set the trap a little bit lower than the surrounding ground. Usually with my flat sets, I kind of keep everything level. And a lot of times what I'll do is try to blend it in a little bit. You don't have to, and I don't always, but just take a little bit of grass, and it don't take a lot of cover, but just kind of blend it in and A little clump of dirt there. So I'm sure Coyote comes up here, he's still going to know something went on here, but at least it's not so obvious. And you know, so usually I'll do my flat sets a little more blended and less conspicuous, you could say, and then I'll do my dirt hole sets. I'll leave the dirt pattern open and real obvious as to something went on there. That way, if a coyote comes into the dirt hole set acting a little shy, a little cautious, maybe this little more subtle set will bring him in. And I just kind of always eyeball it. I don't measure, but I use my pinky to my thumb is about 9 inches, and so that's a, you know, that's a pretty good measure from your backing to your trap pan. So now I'm going to now we'll put a little scent at this location. So being a flat set, a scent post set, I'm going to use urine. I like to use bobcat urine or red fox urine. They tend to be more. I like to catch what comes by, whether it's a red fox, gray fox, bobcat, or coyote, and so those tend to be two urines, bobcat and red fox, that a lot of animals have will take an interest in. If you use straight coyote urine, that may shy away foxes and bobcats just because they know that coyote's a predator, and they may not be as interested in coming to checking that trap out. So my preference, bobcat or red fox urine. Just for whatever reason, it seems like not a lot of stuff is attracted to gray fox urine. You don't see very many people using gray fox urine unless you're trying to trap gray foxes. And I like to always use at least two scents. And at a flat set, my go-to is some gland lure. So I'll squirt my urine on the backing, and I'll take just a little glob of gland lure and put it right at the base of the backing. Kind of tuck it in where it's not obvious where the smell's coming from, but there's definitely a smell coming there. And then that could be animal specific too. So a lot of times I like red fox gland for just in general. I keep some coyote gland and some bobcat gland if I'm feeling one way or the other, but a lot of times my go-to on that will be red fox gland. And that's all there is to it. I'll back out of here, make sure I minimize my presence as much as possible, and get on down the road.